The following account is taken from the journal of Mara Harrow, a British cartographer hired to document a preservation study on Poveglia Island off the coast of northern Italy. The long deserted island sits in the Venetian Lagoon, close enough to see from Venice, but far enough away that, for centuries, it served a different purpose. People were sent there when the city didn't want them coming back. The sick and the dying, the disturbed, the forgotten, and the lost.
That was an incredibly odd experience. The boatman who brought me to the island refused to tie off the boat so I could disembark safely. He simply tossed my bags onto the dock and ordered me off his vessel. I honestly believe he was halfway back to Venice before my feet touched solid ground. I know the Italians can be a bit superstitious, but he seemed to be taking this whole ghost island legend far too seriously. More concerning is the fact that the woman who hired me, Dr. Eleni Rinaldi, wasn't at the old hospital where we were supposed to meet. I spoke to her on her mobile while on the boat, but now I can't even get a signal, which makes no sense since I can literally see Venice from where I'm standing. She also told me not to enter the asylum without her, but she really isn't leaving me much of a choice. Besides, she has to be here somewhere.
Poveglia's history is difficult to separate from its legends. The island was inhabited for almost 1,000 years before the residents were removed and a fort was built to guard the lagoon. In the 1700s, during the plague years, the island was used as a quarantine station. Thousands upon thousands of people died there, with their bodies either being buried or burned. So many perished on Poveglia that it's rumored the entire top layer of soil is comprised of crematory ash. In the 20th century, the fort was converted into a medical hospital and then an insane asylum. That's where the most persistent legend began, with a doctor named Paolo Brunelli.
I found Dr. Rinaldi's bag inside the hospital. Her gloves were folded neatly on top of it, but her phone was lying on the floor, dead. The place smells of salt and rot, with something chemical underneath. I want to start cataloguing the hospital records, but I'm more worried about the doctor's well-being right now. I found the asylum's main office and searched for a note or some sign of Rinaldi, but all I found was the hospital's registry. It was open to the last entry, and the name I saw there, written in faded ink, made my heart skip a beat. Eleni Rinaldi. The date of her institutionalization is listed as today. The note underneath her name described her as a delusional schizophrenic who claimed to be an archaeologist. If this is a joke, it isn't funny. But at this point, I'm praying that's all it is. I've spent the last hour searching for the doctor, calling her name as I canvassed the wards. No answer. This place is unsettling as hell. The rooms have no doors, the floors are decaying and littered with old bedpans, and the entire building is being strangled by miles of climbing vines. I keep hearing footsteps above me, never close, but not far enough away to keep from scaring the hell out of me either. In a storage room near the stairwell, I found a file labelled Vittori. According to my research, Professor Carlo Vittori disappeared after arriving on Poveglia decades ago. He came here to study the island's oldest structures, the Church of San Vitale, the fort, and the burial grounds. His early notes on his discoveries were meticulous and neat. His last ones were not. He claimed that his eyes had begun to betray him and that he had uncovered records that couldn't possibly exist. When I looked back through the asylum's registry, I found his name in the patient logs from 1948. Diagnosis: Carlo Vittori suffers from schizophrenia and believes he is a historic preservationist. The problem is, the term historic preservationist didn't exist before 1966. I'm starting to understand why they call this the most haunted place on Earth, and it's beginning to concern me greatly. It's getting dark now, but I refuse to play the victim and sit here waiting for someone or something to decide my fate. So I started searching for records of Paolo Brunelli, a doctor alleged to have experimented on his patients in cruel and criminal ways. He also claimed to have seen the dead walking the island. The last time anyone saw Brunelli alive was as he plummeted from the top of San Vitale's bell tower in 1934. I found his name in the staff records from 1922. Paolo Brunelli, neurosurgeon. Then I found him again, but not in the asylum records. He was listed in a plague ledger from 1793. Same name, same island. Just 130 years after he killed himself, but not before he tortured and murdered hundreds of mentally ill people entrusted to his care. His cause of death in 1793 was listed as fever. His body was burned with some of his victims. I need to get off this island. I just heard the bell in San Vitale ring one clear note from the tower. The problem is, there is no bell in the church anymore. I've returned to the dock, hoping to flag down a ship or somehow signal that I need help. But it's clear that's not going to happen. I know now why the locals avoid this place like the plague. Sorry, I needed a bit of levity, because I don't think I'm ever leaving this island. I looked in the registry again, and Dr. Rinaldi's name is no longer the final entry. Mine is Mara Harrow. Only the line beside my name keeps changing. Patient, plague contact, unclaimed. Does this mean I still have time? Or is the island just deciding how it wants me to be remembered? Or forgotten? I heard Dr. Rinaldi calling out to me from the darkness. I knew not to follow the sound of her voice, but I did anyway. It led me back to the asylum, only now it is filled with doctors and patients. Dr. Brunelli tells me I suffer from schizophrenia, marked by debilitating psychosis. He recommended keeping this journal, but I don't trust him. I still believe him to be the monster from the legends. But there is no escape now. They are always watching me. At least now I know my fate, though it's not something I'd wish on anyone. Nor is the pain.
No official record lists Mara Harrow as part of the Poveglia survey, which is currently underway. Her journal was discovered by Dr. Eleni Rinaldi, though she claims to have never met or spoken with anyone named Mara Harrow. And the boatman hired to shuttle Rinaldi's team to and from the island has no recollection of delivering her to Poveglia. The only record of Mara Harrow is the one the island keeps.